All right. Purple book begins on page whatever, 143 or something. So let us do so. Now, there's a couple of answers that you could use in number one, but there's only one that really works because I added this on a graph part. Okay? What is it on a graph that you put on a graph to show this constant change? Okay, the linear relation is what you use to make the graph. What does the actual graph look like? A straight line, okay? But I will accept either of those, right? Both of them are fine. But to be perfectly perfect, that's the reason on a graph is added there. Understand? So it is a linear relation, but this 3x plus 9 equals y is also a linear relation. But that's not on a graph, is it? Understand? So straight line is the best answer because this is a linear relation, but it's not on a graph yet. Cool? Everybody understand the difference? Okay. A graph whose points are not connected is discrete. I should be asking you guys to give these answers. A graph of what kind of data has no space between points? Continuous. Lovely. Okay, because let's remember, a continuous data graph is actually just an infinite amount of points so close together that it makes a straight line. Okay, which is why when we're doing something like how much you're paid by the hour, we end up connecting it. Because most of you, if you have a job, are paid down to the 15 minutes, right? So you would have to have between 1 and 4 little dots. All right, measure of the steepness of a line is, which one? D, the slope. Now, I didn't do a lot of talking about slope except as a rate of change, right? And how we talked about the steeper it is on a distance chart, the faster you're going, stuff like that. I didn't talk a lot about slope because that leads directly into the very first lesson in the next unit is slope. A relation in which the independent variable relates to exactly one value of the dependent variable. Which of that is these? That is a function, A. The point where the line crosses the horizontal axis, that's the key. That must be the F, the x-intercept, because the horizontal accent. The horizontal accent sounds like a this. Get it? Because I did an accent, but it's not a real accent. Actually, I think that's how mermaid people talk. That's their accent. It's an Atlantean accent. No, because they don't exist. No, because they don't exist. Sailors thought manatees might have been mermaids because manatees looked a little weird because they had never seen them. I've seen what a mermaid looks like. I've seen Splash, and I've seen... Splash is the greatest mermaid movie of all time. Yes, 1984. Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah. No, it's awesome. Don't see Splash 2. That's a piece of crap. But Splash 1, brilliant. It's Tom Hanks. How can you go wrong? Back when Tom Hanks was still making comedies, which he is best at. Think how good Tom Hanks is in all his recent movies. Castaway, Sully, all those things where he's a dramatic guy. That's his second best kind of acting. If you see some of his old comedies, you're like, yeah. Anyway, let's carry on. An association between any two quantities is what? C. It's any relation, right? A formula or rule that identifies a particular function. B, function notation. F of x means that specific function. Anything else cannot be called f of x in that question. Understand? And a method to determine if a relation is a function, that's E, our good friend, the vertical line test. Good? Any questions about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Da-na-na-na-na-na. One person is smiling because one person watched Sesame Street. All of you know what that is, right? The pinball machine that counts to 12? Okay. Man, I used to watch that show. It's like, man, that'd be the greatest pinball machine ever. I wish that was a real pinball machine. You guys are like, what's pinball? I'm just joking. Of course you know what pinball is. If you find yourself in Vegas, there's a Pinball Hall of Fame. It is a giant warehouse filled with old pinball games and some old video games. If you find yourself in Vegas and your parents want to gamble and they want to get rid of you, tell them to take you to the Pinball Hall of Fame. Everything's still a quarter. It's awesome. There's pinball games from like 1910. I know, it's crazy. Not that your parents would ever take you to Vegas and ditch you so they could gamble. That would be a horrible thing to do. When I took my kids to Vegas, I went to the Pinball Hall of Fame with them because my son and I were like playing old-timey Punch-Out. You guys know that as, Wii Punch-Out. But it was way better back in the day. Let's carry on. Okay, so, hey, wait a minute. Oh, no, that's right. You did that on the other sheet? You didn't do it in your purple book? So get out your other sheet so you can check and make sure it's right. Number 7. Well, for me, on the purple book, it's number 7. For you guys on the extra one, it's number... Is it number 7? Shut up. It's number 1? Yeah, and matching, number 1. So for you guys, if you did this only the once in the extra book, it's number 1 matching. Alrighty? So, and it is B. Because you can put any number in for X, square it, multiply it by 3, and subtract 4. Right? Every number works. So it's every real number and every real number. Number 8, the roller coaster starts 2 meters off the ground and reaches a maximum height of 13. The ride lasts 4 minutes. Which of those is independent variable? Height or time? Time. So that means your domain has to go from 0 to 4, yes? So which of those is that? E. Domain, all real numbers 0 to 4 inclusive. Why is it all real numbers? Because can you be on the ride for 0.05 of a minute? Yeah, you can be on the ride for 30 seconds. Can you be on the ride for 30 seconds and 1 millisecond? Yes. Can you be on the ride for 30 seconds and 1 picosecond? Can you be on the ride for 30 seconds and 1 whatever comes after picoseconds? Because I don't know what comes after pico. Everyone's cool? Okay, so that's why it is E. Number 9 for you guys should be that graph, yeah? It's number 3 on the other one. Now, look at this graph closely. Does it have arrows? No. So it goes from that point to that point. I check domain on the x-axis, and it is 2 to 4, and they are both included. And the range is, I check the range on the y-axis, -5 to 4, and they are both included. So it has to be A. Yeah? Now, on the extra one, I added one other question, right? Is it on both? Oh, yeah, there it is right there. Okay, so what is that one allowed to be? B again. Because every number can be cut in half and add 6 added to it. Yes? All right. Short answer. I think this was in both too, wasn't it? Okay, so person bicycled during a 50-minute period. Describe a possible scenario. There's no right or wrong answer. Understand? Here is what you would need to write to get points from me. For the first 15 minutes, they rode at a constant rate. You could have figured out what the rate is. I don't care if you did or not. Does everybody understand? So 0 to 15, they rode. This is distance time, so they rode away from home. Home, not boom. Home at constant rate. What happened between 15 to 30 minutes? What happened to their Describe this part of the graph to me. This part is green, which we talked about right there. Now let's talk about the yellow part. What can you say there? She's going faster. As long as you have that they've sped up, I'm happy. Okay? That's like the B answer. She went faster. If you wanted to get the A answer, you would figure out how fast she was going. Right? And how would you figure that out? Well, she went in 15 to 30 in 15 minutes. She covered 4 kilometers, right? So she's going 4 kilometers in 15 minutes. So in an hour, she would be going 4 times 15. She'd be going 16 kilometers an hour. Everybody cool? That would get you the A. Everybody understand? 16 kilometers an hour is not a bad pace on a bike. Everybody cool? Okay. So she sped up, right? If she did 4 kilometers in 15 minutes, you could get like the A there. Cool? And then what happens? This part is what screws kids up. What happens from 15 to 45, 48, 51? Looks like about 49.5 minutes. What happened there? What? She went home. Returned home. Shut up. Returned home at constant speed. If you wanted to work out the speed, you would see that it took her 40 or 35 minutes and she went 6 kilometers. Cool? Everybody happy with that? Anybody need more of it explained than that? Once, twice, thrice, done. Moving along. A, linear or not linear? This is in the purple book. Linear or not linear? It is linear. Yes, linear. Why? Over 1 up 2. Plus 1 plus 2. Over 1 up 2. Plus 1 plus 2. Over 1 up 2. Plus 1 plus 2. How can it be linear? I didn't draw a straight line. What does that mean? Pardon me? Okay. But it's just not continuous data. That's all it means. That's the reason there's no line there. If there were a line, it would be a straight line, so it is linear. Cool? Okay, what about B? Linear or nonlinear? No. Nonlinear. Why? There's an exponent. Excellent. What about this one? Ooh, that's yucky. How do you check it? You just check. X, -2 to -1 is +3, yeah? And then 1 to 4 is what? +3. Cool? And then 4 to 10 is +6. So it's just 2 jumps. Yes? So now we check on the Y's. 5 to 3 is how far? -2, right? 3 to 1, -2. Cool. 1 to -3 is -4. 2 jumps. So that one is linear.
That's what I asked and you said no.
I thought you were asking.
I asked you if it goes 1 to the right and 1 up, and then 2 to the right and 2 up. Is it linear? And you said no.
I stopped listening to you.
So
I thought you meant this, Antonio. I thought you meant this there, and then the same line continued like that.
no.
I thought you meant this question. Sorry, my fault. I thought you meant what if the same line bends. Sorry about that. Good thing we're not marking this. But you understand why now, yes? Our misunderstanding is covered? Okay. Number 3, domain and range. Domain is only the x-axis. 0, 1, 2, 3. So your number line would look like this. 0 is included. 1 is included. 2 is included. 3 is included. That's what it would look like. Can't be connected. Has to be 4 separate dots. Range, -2, 0, +2, 4. -2, 0, 2, 4. And they're all included. That's what a number line would look like. Set notation, my R is my range, or my domain, yes? Can any number be squared? It can be, yes? Right? Because, now this is a tricky one, because a lot of kids say, well, it's a radius, Mr. Myers. How can a radius be negative? Everyone agree with me? But a radius could be negative if we graphed it like this, and I gave you this distance. That's a negative radius, isn't it? But when you square it, it becomes positive, so you still get a positive area. Understand? So that is, again, the domain is all real numbers, and I want it in set notation. There's a couple of ways to write it. You could do this. X, not X because it's R. R is a set of real numbers. Or you could write -infinity less than R less than +infinity. I would accept either one. Okay? And then the range, of course, is the same thing, yes? Why?
Because the lowest thing is 0.
Yeah, it can't be negative, can it? So your range, your y, in set notation, y has to be greater than or equal to 0, or 0 less than or equal to y less than or equal to infinity. Squiggly bracket. Cool?
Less than infinity, because it can't be equal to infinity.
Yes, thank you. Less than, not equal to infinity. Cool? Everybody good? Anybody got a question about that one? And then list, I already showed you, it's a trick. Because if you list this, most of you, not most of you, because you guys are smart kids, but a lot of kids will list these as ordered pairs. And they're not ordered pairs, are they? Right? They got to go in order. So your domain is -2, 1, 4, 10. Because you got to put them in lowest to highest. And your range is -3, 1, 3, 5. Cool? Any questions about domain and range? Okay. Cruising along. At a bowling alley, Angela rents shoes for $3, $2.50 to bowl each game. Develop an equation that shows it in that form. So C of X is the total cost, no problem. C of X, right? Now, how much is it going to cost her no matter what? Soon as she walks in. 3. She's got to rent the shoes, right? So there's going to have to be 3. And then it's $2.50 per game, right? The X are the games. So it must be 2.5X plus 3. I would accept, of course, 2.50 because we're talking about money. Does everybody understand that? Could I also have written it this way? 3 plus 2.50X. I'm happy with that too. I don't really care about that. Cool? Is it a function? Yes or no? Yes, of course it's a function. Why? What happens every time you play a game? It goes up by 250. So if X goes up by 1, your cost goes up by 250. If X goes up by 2, your cost goes up by 5. If X goes up by 3, your cost goes up by 750. Right? Okay. So cost rises $2.50 per game. How much did it cost her to bowl four games? Now this was a double question, right? This question says to me if you understand function notation. As well, it shows me if you can do simple math, right? Because the function is Cx equals 2.5x plus 3, right? She bowled 4 games, so it must be the C of 4 is 2.5. What goes here? 4 plus 3. 2.5 times 4 is 10 plus 3 So it cost her $13 to bowl her 4 games. Good? Okay. We've got 9 minutes left. Should be enough time because we're almost done the purple book. Initial height. What does initial mean? First. So what is the first height of Alaric's balloon? Alaric is closer to the ground than, so it's this guy right here. So he's 10 meters off the ground. And Carlinda, nice names, is how far off the ground right there? 15. Oh, I lie. Sorry, 30. Cool? No questions, right? Okay. How fast is each balloon rising? Do I care how you measure this? You could go by the minute, you could go by the hour, I don't care. What's the easiest way to do it? I would go in, the red one's real easy, right? Because in 1 minute, how far up did Carlinda go? 10. So Carlinda is going up 1 meter per 10, I lie, other way around, 10 meters per 1 minute. Is that okay? What would we really usually measure speed as? Kilometers per hour. So I would multiply this by 60, yes? 60 meters per hour, which would be 0.06 kilometers per hour, right? But I don't care. As long as you recognize, as long as you give me a rate. Now, the other one is slightly harder. Because when do you got to go to? This one's hard. Why can't I use that dot? It's not exact, right? But yeah, I'll get to that in a sec too, Antonio. That one's good, though, right? So I went 2 minutes, and I went up, how far? 30. So he's going up 30 meters per 2 minutes, right? Now, if I want to compare the two, can I compare 1 minute and 2 minutes? No, I got to change this. How fast is this guy going? 15 meters per 1 minute. Now I can compare the two, right? Everybody happy with that? And when are they at the same height? 4 minutes, right there, because that's where the lines cross. Got it? And finally, the flight from Toronto to Rome. This I probably didn't print very well for you guys, did it? It did not. So what does the graph represent? Time in the air from Toronto to Rome, right? What are the domain and range? What's the domain? So it is 0 to 9. Is that okay to write it that way? Can I also write it this way? Time less than or equal to 9. Same thing. What's the range? Range is tricky because everybody does it wrong. Right. The range is 0 to 7,200. Because you got to put your lowest one first. Okay, well, 7,100 is fine. Okay, it's tough to read, although it is written right here, yeah? How long has it been flying? When it is 3,900 kilometers from Rome. So I go to 3,900, which is right there, and I come out to here, and I go down to here, and what's the answer? To the nearest hour, 4 hours. Okay? What do you guys have?
I have 5 hours because in mine it looks like right? Yes.
Okay. Check your method.
Oh, I was below 3,500 and not below 4,000.
Antonio! All right, so it's 9:26. So I'll do the extra review, and I'll add it to this video Okay? There'll be 2 videos, and I'll entitle them Purple Book, this one, and Extra Review, which I'll make at lunch today. Okay? And we will test on this tomorrow. Is everybody okay? All right.